to episode 6 of the podcast. Here I have Adam Marquis. So Adam Marquis he's a renowned agent. He is successful in the financial industry and has actually accomplished a lot. And the reason why I'm bringing him on is because the mindset of this man is absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. I've had the pleasure of knowing him in person, and I think there's a lot you can learn. So guys, Adam, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, that'd be very much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an honor and privilege to be at any meeting, but particularly here. Family First Life, the family of that. So my agency is the Mountaineers, and I'm a producer, and gratefully did about 884 families times $1,000. You do the math. Gratefully did that with mortgage protection, final expense, IUL, and a little bit of fixed index annuity. So trying to be a full 4-quadrant agent and how to do the advanced markets. So top of the line, most people talk about final expense whole life, and then doing term accidental, and then over here to do universal life, IUL, and then do fixed index universal life and multi-year guaranteed annuities. I'm trying to go bottom of the line. My first 2 years were really top of the line, a little bit of quadrant 3. So I'm trying to do all 4 and then train my team to do that and surpass what I can do. That's my goal.
Gotcha. You sound like a really smart guy. You're going in quadrants, but let's talk about how did you get started in the financial industry? Because I know you were in the health space as an executive for a little bit. How did you make that transition to get into the financial industry?
So I was a healthcare CEO. I used to do addictions, behavioral health, integrated medicine, so whole person, holistic care.
Okay.
Then divorce happened, and so needed more money and income, and so I saw potentiality of this from back when you could post actual deposits.
Okay.
There was this that was posting deposits on Facebook, and I was like, "What is this about?" Right? I friended her, and I was like, "Huh." So then I went to my first conference, and I talked with people like Brian Rowlands, Dean Pavlik, Matt Smith, others after for like 5 minutes, and then I made my decision. All right, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
I did, and I had about 20 to 25,000 left in my name, and I went all in. Okay. So that's how I started. That was April 26th of 2021.
Okay, good. So just walk me through the process of you have all of this pivotal. Now, do you think if the divorce never happened and you never had the the circumstance where you were actually depleting your funds, do you think you'd have actually made that jump into started into a new industry?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So then again, you would say that almost because a lot of people relate to, whenever something tragic happens to them, they get actually like bottom down and they go down on themselves. But you were able to turn that tragedy into, how much did you say you've done in the past year as far as production numbers?
Last year did 884,000.
Okay, so that's 884,000, and if you want to share, what's the average income of an executive at your position before you transitioned into the insurance industry?
You're at 6 figures, but I was at a little over 200,000. So
gotcha.
It's a big difference.
So then again, it's like, okay, now talk to me as far as, okay, because as an executive, you have to manage and lead a team, right? You have a lot of responsibilities. Right now, if you are going from being an executive to now being an independent contractor per se, or being an entrepreneur, what would you say is that huge difference responsibility wise, and what is that shift as far as, is it more work you're having to do on one end as an executive, or are you doing more work as an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I was bored as an executive because you can only do so much rounding. Like I did rounding for results. I followed the scooter model. So I was what I did as a turnaround specialist. I'd come to failing companies and I'd turn them around, the culture.
Okay.
And I would re-recruit the high performers, the mid performers to keep them, and the low performers, it's either up or out.
Gotcha. Now, what is so this is very interesting because you're coming in and you turn a company around. What are those key things that you come in and you can be like, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong? Because a lot of the audience here, they're running businesses, they're running companies, and they might be making the same mistakes that you were finding initially. So what necessarily would you say, okay, that's the one thing that if your company is doing right now, you need to stop it?
Give me one full day in a company, let me do rounding and talk with everybody, and I'll ask them 3 questions, and I can tell you exactly what the problems are as a consultant, because I do that now. Okay. I go, what's working? What's not working? What do we need to improve?
Okay.
Tell me everything I need to know.
Okay. Okay. So what are the common from doing that? What are the common, I guess, because there's always commonality and similarities, right? Because almost every company is founded on a vision, right? The entrepreneur founds a company on a vision, but they don't pay attention to the back end things, right? The legal part of things, the management side of things. They just focus on that one goal. So hence they leave a lot of things unchecked. What is that one thing that you say you probably see is common across the board, like a ballpark?
Well, it comes down to treatment, how you treat people and how
Yeah.
people are treated, the customs of interactions with people, right?
Okay.
No one gave me a silver spoon. I come from the woods of Maine. Okay. I earned everything.
Yeah.
No one said, "Oh, here's a family business. Go for it." No. So I got my MBA, I paid my dues. So basically, if you look at your hand, I give this credit to a lady who was a recruiter. Okay. You
Okay.
have the shape of it's called SHAPE. Everyone thinks of as your experience, education, and your expertise. Yeah, I have a resume for that. We
Okay.
all do.
Okay.
But in my field, I was in top 100 in the US. You know what I'm going to say? So what? Who cares?
Yeah.
What's relatable is this your spiritual gifts. S,
Okay.
H, heart, A, your attitude, right?
Uh-huh.
P, your personality.
Okay.
So it should fit in like a glove.
Okay.
Your shit, right? That's where it's really key for me. Can't
Okay.
speak for others. So what did I transfer skill set? What's relatable, right? MVV, mission, vision, values, the values of the culture, right? What is rewarded, what isn't, basically.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then when you talk about culture, you're condensing it down into one word. I don't care what anyone says. One word, culture means behavior. What is the behavior? What do we do? What do we not do? What's acceptable? Just like the customs of
Yeah.
any culture you go to, right? And then how welcoming is it? How do people feel and how are they treated? I'm a little old school.
Yeah.
I'm at Gen X. I have a foot in the old school, a foot in the new school.
Okay. Okay.
So I can do both. So I understand honor and respect, which the old school really likes, and I can be relatable and cool and have funk and be cool there, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, driving results because
Gotcha.
nobody cares unless you drive results. So I speak clinicalese and medicalese as an administrator. So when I
Okay.
came here, so I passed the PCAT, which is like the MCAT, medical school. I passed it
Okay.
for the doctor of pharmacology. So I can speak the terms. So when here's why there's a big chasm between the clinical and the administration.
Okay.
Clinical doesn't like administration because they don't understand everything's about the patient. But I got it. So I
Gotcha.
did what's called the triple win. You can do the
Yeah.
same thing here in this business. I'll relate it in a second. Triple win. Number one, it's got to be a win for the community.
Okay.
What does add value for services? It's got to be a win for the clinician, get him more credentials, certifications, and it's got to be billable in that world. Triple win. That's what I used to do. Okay.
Okay.
So here, what's the triple win, right? What carriers can I add? I have like 40 now.
Okay.
That is going to add value from my portfolio to help the community,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then me as a clinician, I'm clinical. I don't consider myself sales. I just don't. I don't treat it like that. Sales is transactional. I'm transformation. I want them in a better position. I don't just put something off a shelf and throw it at them. I
Yeah.
customize it. And then it has to help put them in the best position possible for my insurance representation. Alan Pruitt taught me that. So here's, at the end of the day, so what? So it's the triple win.
Okay. 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 Got you. Okay. So that's very interesting there as far as looking at the mindset. And you said something about sales, which you said sales for you is not transactional, it's transformational, right? So it's more of like customizing the product to the customer. Now, walk me through the process as far as unpack to me, because you're in the insurance space, and I personally, you and I come from the insurance background. A lot of people find insurance to be a tough sell for them, right? And then there's also people in another camp who are like, oh, it's actually pretty easy to sell it, which is probably your camp. Now, unpack to me, what's the mindset difference as far as what's that transformational experience that you give your customer? Let's say I'm coming to you and I want to buy, get a policy set up. What is that transformational experience that you're giving me on this end, as opposed to me, being that mental roadblock of still being transactional?
It's different if you're requesting, if you're a lead or you're not a lead, and I'm going to drum up or if it's somebody that is, it's the difference between established credibility or
Okay.
establishing credibility. So with a lead, I have to establish my credibility with you. So here's how it would run.
Okay.
Here we go. Live from Seattle, Washington to wherever you are, man. Where are you?
I'm right now in North Carolina.
Okay. So here's how it goes. To be, Manuel, I'm a field writer and I'm an independent life insurance broker with over 100 companies I can access on the market. Okay. Then I said, what we're going to do, as I said, I can see the whole market. So the shopping stops with me.
Okay.
I'm overcoming that objection. Number two, I said, we're going to pick one of those companies and we're going to make an application to get you approved.
Okay.
There's nothing to think about unless you're approved. Objection right there. I said, based on your aging health, what premium you can afford to get you the most coverage. Does that sound fair to you?
Yeah.
I get them to say yes, agree. Agreement, here's the spiritual principle. It plays out in this. Agreement is the place of power, Ed Cole. Okay. Disagreement always produces powerlessness. That's why in sales, they get you to say yeses. Yes. So when I'm going for yeses right out of the gate.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go, okay, what are we doing this for? Oh, it's your beneficiary. All right. And then and if I feel led to, I'll go, hey, do you have retirement at work? Well, you do. Okay, cool. Well, are you putting more above match, Emmanuel? Than what they
just a little bit more. I'm putting just a little bit more above, about 2%.
So about $100 more a month or two?
Yeah, about 180.
180. Okay. So what I would say is in directing those funds, what if I could show you something? This is where we go to IUL, where you have at least a 10-year span of time.
Okay.
You're young enough and healthy enough for a 10-year road, basically a runway where you can take off to get up above the trees. What the trees is when you want to retire. So at least 10 years.
Okay.
And then you structure an IUL that's going to be tax advantage versus that 401k, 403b, or 457, which are pre-tax. That's a problem because later the time value of money. Do you think taxes are going up or down?
I mean, taxes are going up. Yeah. Yeah.
Cost of living. So that money and time value of money is going to be worth less later. So you need something structured that's going to help get you on the market where you're never going to lose money. You can pull money out of it and still build wealth and still draw money out.
Yeah. And
not outlive your money for retirement. Big deal. Big deal.
Gotcha.
And it's still a living benefit, or may or may not have, but a death benefit. If it's a fixed index annuity or an IUL, it has living benefits, as we all know. So that comes down. So not all IULs are created equal. They're not. So depends on which IUL you can change strategies at certain points. For example, some companies you can do it once a year.
Gotcha.
Some products you get 6%, some 7%. Well, I would hope you get that. And then, so you have cap rates. So you're going to be capped at 12, but you have a floor of 0 or 0.05 or 0.5 or 0.25, which means you're still making money when the market tanks.
Yeah.
Like right now. So how do you structure it? Well, probably put it in Barclays, whatever indexing. So for the people that are watching this, it's the indexing strategy that matters the most, where you put your, is there a 1% bonus, per year, whatever, right? I like F&G, Fidelity and Guarantee, because you can play with your premium when you stop paying and when you start drawing.
Okay.
And you can start to be able to maximize those returns, right?
Okay.
And not exhaust your accumulated cash. So it's a smart way to build money. But if you're not putting in $200, $300, $400, $500 a month, 200 or 300, it won't build that much cash. So It's kind of like so what I have people do when I run pension leads, when I run different, I go, your homework is I want you to do your budget. There's a point to this. The inputs. What's your money, your inputs coming in? List your major expenses, not to the penny. Draw a line to the bottom. Where is that money being directed? Where is it going? And then when we use some of that for an IU.
Got you. Now, so let's talk about this in the census too. I know you're talking more in the index universal life. Now, a lot of people are not familiar with that, right? And then there's always that skepticism of, okay, is this a life insurance policy or is this am I getting into like the markets, right? Because now it's it's conflicting on the two on both sides, right? Because I'm listening to this as more of like I'm a viewer, right? So just take it from a perspective of a viewer. All right, now, okay, he's talking about insurance, but then he's also talking insurance as a money vehicle. How is that possible, right? So unpack to me a little bit more about what makes that IUL so unique as far as, compared to any other money vehicle out there.
So it came out in the 70s and it was specifically designed for what I'm saying, I think. Okay. Right. So watch David McKnight, right? I think is it David or John McKnight? These guys are awesome.
Okay.
They'll do a lot of teaching on this. But so basically, when you think of investment like a vehicle, think of it like a chassis, like a car, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a Roth IRA, which is great. It's post-tax money. Okay.
Okay.
And so the next thing that I look at is, okay, why do we put it on an index or a life insurance chassis?
Yeah.
Well, because of IRS code, I think it's 7022, which says that if you have a death benefit, right, it's tax-free, and the rest you can accumulate cash value.
Okay.
Inside the policy.
Gotcha.
So that's the key there for me. So I go, hey, look, so you're getting a 3-for-1 benefit, cash accumulation, living benefits. That's if you get, I'll just do a quick education. 3 kinds of living benefits: terminal illness, 12 to 24 months to live by a medical professional; critical illness, heart attack, stroke, cancer, nine systems inside your body go offline; chronic illness, think of your arms and your legs, 2 or more activities for daily living you can't do for yourself: cooking, cleaning, bathing, dressing, eating, transferring weight, including walking, drinking, whatever, medication. You can take out money early, right? Okay. And then the death benefit, legacy, right? So some people could care less about leaving money, right? And then putting it in a trust is smarter, a living trust, to avoid probate court and less money comes out from lawyer. Now, what's a living will? Do that as well, right? Why? It tells the judge what to do. Yes, it does. Power of attorney. When you can't make decisions, if you have mental incapacity, right there. How about advanced directive? Your vegetative state. Here's what we're doing. Now, the life insurance is the first part of that. Why? Because of the tax code. It's tax advantaged. So here's the problem with the Roth IRAs or Roth 401ks. Okay. You have income limits. It's like 114, 115,000 for a single filing single. And for a couple, it's like 220. What if you make more than that?
Gotcha.
You can't put money anywhere. You're disqualified. So you have what's called a rich woman's or a rich man's Roth is the IUL, because it has no limit of what you can tuck for money into it. And that's what the rich do. And that's why the rich stay rich. And generational wealth is transferred. They get a policy for their child early on, IUL. It's building cash, building debt. They die, it goes to the trust. They die, it goes to the trust. There you go.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, the whole time.
Okay. I want to pivot here and talk a little bit more about current financial situations going on. Obviously, you heard about the Silicon Valley Bank, thing happening, right? Well, what's your take on that?
The whole thing's going to collapse. But Armageddon would happen if the insurance companies do.
Okay.
They haven't. AIG big bailout back in 2008, right? In the banking crisis. But I see this big domino effect in the banks, right? What is it? 1,400 banks have failed?
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with the number yet, but possibly.
It's a lot. So what it is all this bad debt. Here's the problem. Okay. Right? Let's say, Emmanuel, I'm the bank, right? And you give me $100.
Okay.
They have what's called derivatives. Then they give out 10 times that amount in loaning. But too many people default on that. It's imaginary money.
Interesting.
It's not real. So that's the problem, is you play with the derivatives of the game, you overprint, overfund, right? Because we got off the gold standard in with Nixon years. Why? So you can print as much as you want, but it's not asset backed. So it has no value. It's not worth the paper it's not printed on. At some point, that game ends, and we're coming to that point,
Interesting.
whether people want to admit it or not.
So how bad do you think it's going to get? Because there's a lot of people, because now if I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, the IUL is going to protect me because if the market tanks, one, I can't, I'm not making any losses. And then two, for the insurance companies are required to have a specific amount of money before they can actually loan out anything. So there's actually more protection with the insurance companies than there is with the banks. So how bad do you think it's going to get if someone is like, all right, I'm going to leave all my money with the bank. It's not going to crash. What's your forecast? What do you think?
When you go to the ATM and it's shut off, what are you going to do? That's what I would say is
Gotcha.
cash on hand, some of that, right? But
Yeah.
the point being is investing in insurance companies because they're insured, reinsured, and then reinsured again, and then reinsured again. Okay. And then they're going to pay out, to your point. So, where would I want to stick my money? There. Right. Here's the issue. Now, there's pluses and minuses. Let's talk about it. So whether it's in a bank and a savings earning less than 1%, the rule of 72 is it double, is it will, basically grow. The problem is you can't move money without penalty in a 40 whatever, 457, 403B, 403, 401k, excuse me.
Yeah.
You can't move anything before 59.5 or it's a penalty. You can take it out for certain expenses, certain like buying a home or different things. And then you have the rule of 72, which means minimum distributions. Uncle Sam just says, I'll wait to get my money. Right. But the problem is this is what they don't say. I'm not a financial advisor, whatever. But I'd say they talk about the 4% rule. Don't take more than 4% when you retire so you don't exhaust that fund. What if you need more than 4%? Over here, you're getting 8%, depending on how it's structured in the IUL.
Gotcha.
Smarter.
So now I'm gonna do a little bit of comparisons here, right? So obviously there's a lot of people that leave their money in the banks. So we're still on the banks. They leave their money in the banks and they get, a fraction of a percentage on the return on a savings account. And then there's a few people that are on the camps of, well, why don't I just go and put my money in treasury bonds? Right. And then comparatively to the IUL, right? So we're comparing three different products here, right? We're comparing the insurance financial product. We're comparing, just buying straight up treasury bonds, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with. You could get about, I don't know, 4 or 5% on that. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you have your traditional savings account, right? Now, most people want to have control of their money. Okay. So the ones control their money, leave it in the savings, right? Some people are willing to wait. So they go in the treasury bonds, and then you have people who go in the IULs, right? So how can you structure yours where you can beat the treasury bonds and also give them the peace of mind that don't worry about, having to access your money right now, just leave it in your policy so it grows.
We're talking basically, I'm going to simplify. We're talking the difference between investment and having investment in liquidity.
Okay.
So access the funds that you need. You should have an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months minimum, and then some additional monies, and then actually have money towards investments.
Gotcha. So if I had $1,000, for instance, go ahead.
So you want to have, if I did an analysis, and I do this a lot for pension reviews, right? If all of your sources of income are taxable in retirement, that's a problem, including Social Security. Social Security should not be baked in as an ingredient. It should be the frosting on the cake, a little extra. Okay. Because that's 10,000 people turn 65 every day. Medicare and Social Security going up. It's in the red. Taxes are going up to pay for this. You got to pay for it now. So basically, it's having some tax-free accounts. That's insurance.
Okay.
Leveraged assets in case you get sick, disabled, injured, or couldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And then a living trust to put your money to tax shield it. Tax advantage. Not everything all in one place. So it's liquidity and investments. It's both. Because sometimes life happens, right? The car breaks down or whatever. You want to do an investment property and whatever. Sure. But it's how it's structured. Here's the issue with your traditional financial advisor. Okay. And I don't want hate mail from this, but it's reality. They're taking fees.
Okay.
That are hidden. There's ticker fees in everything that they buy. And most of the time, they're buying and selling at will. You can nudge them all you want. You can have them all go over here, but they're choosing, not you. So how much control do you want on that steering wheel? You know, and how well are we doing in the market? Most people lost 15%. I'm talking to. That's a lot. So if here's the trees, you need this amount of money in retirement, and you like your money in volatile, you get all the ups, but you get all the downs too.
Yeah.
What if it really tanks? Probably will, more and more. What if you need to get here, but you're only here? You're underfunded. So I don't care. Slice it any you want. If you want to live the same lifestyle, then you need to make sure you're going to be here or here, not here. Because a lot of people, want to, when I talk with them, I do pension leads, I do all kinds of stuff, right? I meet with 50 people a week, right? Do you want to stare at your shoes in retirement because you can't afford to do anything?
Yeah.
No. So most of the time it's kids or grandkids, travel, domestic, international, side business or not. They want to maintain somewhat of a lifestyle. Great.
Okay.
Here's the deal. Time value. You've got your runway. Look at the data. The numbers will never lie. Where are you now? Do your budget. What do you think it'll be then? And then how are you going to get there? And diversify, be smart. Not everything all eggs in one basket. But I would say, for me, you want to have enough liquidity so you can access funds 3 to 6 months minimum. The rest of it can be invested. Where do I put my money? IULs, excuse me. I have a fixed index annuity.
Okay.
I'm not a hypocrite. I own it. So if I get chunks of money, I'm going to go, whoop. Why? It's like set it and forget it, when you're cooking, right? Set it and forget it. It's gonna pay back to me if it's structured right.
Gotcha. So now you discussed a lot about structure, and obviously, the reason why you're on is you very much, your knowledge and expertise on the money market's very interesting. Now, how can people find you if they're looking to learn more about IULs or they're looking to set up an IUL?
So Family First Life Mountaineers or Adam Marquis. So it's www.fflmountaineers.com.
Okay.
Is me. And they can, send in contact information there, whatever. There's a little e-form, right?
Okay.
And I'm not promising all things to everybody. Part of the idea with insurance is you got to be healthy enough for it too.
Okay.
Right? You can't have a heart attack last year and expect to get an IUL because there's table ratings. There's 6.
Okay.
Right? And there are requirements. You got to be able to maybe do a paramedical or a full physical sometimes, depending on the type of policy, right? So don't be afraid of it, right? But there's different ways to do this, right? So let's just say you're not healthy and you've got 50 grand. Okay. Well, by the time you're 60, you should have 80 to 90% of your funds protected, not on the market, because you can't afford to lose it. So then putting it into a fixed index annuity or a multi-year guaranteed annuity or a secure retirement account like that, something similar, right? That's what I do, right? So I think for me, where am I gonna put my focus? Insurance products. Why? Generational wealth. I've got 3 kids. Okay. 12-year-old going on 30. That's what she thinks she's doing.
Yeah.
And then 8-year-old and a 5-year-old sons, right?
Yeah.
I already got 1.3 million for them. If daddy goes, we're okay, right? Tax-free to them. And meanwhile, I want to make some money for them because I want to leave them more than what I started with, which was 0.
Yeah. Well,
and that's okay. I'm okay with. Go ahead, sir.
No. I'm very intrigued by that. So now let's look at it from a standpoint of, now let's say, there's a lot of insurance agents that also do watch me, and let's say they're watching this right now and they're going, well, I'm very much confused about how do I sell an annuity? How do I structure an annuity? How do I make sure that I'm transformational versus transactional? Right. So what is that step-by-step basis or that fact-finding question that you advise that agent to put in place so they can be best able to help the person?
If they're not with Family First Life, connect with me. And I can probably help you with that more than I could if you are with Family First Life. Then I can kind of do it from a hands-off because we respect the hierarchy and the lineage of all that, right? But it comes down to the relationship building.
Okay.
We're going to work. Stephen Covey said it better. We're going to work at the speed of trust, which is exchanging truth right out of the gate. Where are they? What's working? What's not working? Where can we improve your situation? What do you want?
Okay.
Are you? What can you afford? And then we're going to work from there. So there's some cool products like participating whole life. Let me talk about that. That's a cool thing too. We always talk about IUL, but participating whole life actually gives you access to the money faster to pay off debt and live debt free for life. Participating whole life with Foresters or Lafayette, because you can access cash value year one. IUL is typically years 2 to 5. So it comes down to how quickly you need that. I have 2 people in underwriting right now for that.
Yeah.
One is $500 a month, one's $1,500. The person at $1,500 a month, right, was putting it into 5 different retirement accounts themselves. But when we showed the illustration of using debt-free for life tool and showed how to do that, even with his other agents showing how they do that, you can pay off the debt in 20 years or you can do it in 4.7 years. Which one do you want to do?
Yeah.
It sells itself, right? And you need money. This other person, needs money quicker to pay off credit cards. They had 5 of them. We're going to do, there's, Dave Ramsey is the snowball, right? Pick the biggest amount or the smallest amount, pay that off. Then there's debt avalanche, which you pick the biggest interest amount. So it's either one. Doesn't matter. Whatever one get you out of debt faster. And there's a tool to use that. It costs money to do it. I'm learning, I'm learning about this. But to me, it's adding value by saying, here's the tools. And I'm not an apprentice. Like, here, do I have some credibility, right? Am I competent? Like, can I speak on the width of it, not just a little bit? And can I actually go, hey, look, let's look at your situation. Let's look at all your inputs, your current situation. Where are you going to be? How can we put you in a better position? That's called the income to expense ratio report. It forecasts all your income at retirement and adjusts it for inflation and taxes, where most people are either going to head for a surplus or deficit. Where do you think most people trend? Right here.
Yeah.
Because they underestimate that. So then we look at that and go, okay, maybe we're not there yet, but let's start working, let's pay off debt and take some of that money and use it. It just depends on their goals.
Gotcha.
Right. That's what I say. What are your goals? What's most important to you? And then we start there. And if we can make some success and quick wins,
yeah,
I'm talking about the next year or 2, cool. And they kind of go, wow, if it's not working, we adjust it.
Gotcha.
If it's not with me, hey, go work with someone else. That's cool.
Gotcha.
Because I forget the guy who said this, but there's 3 reasons why someone doesn't buy from me. Okay. They don't believe in the company. They don't believe in the product, or they don't believe in me.
Gotcha.
And if it's not me, cool. I'll refer you or find somebody else. That's cool. But if you go to that classic financial advisor, all they're going to think about, I need to make money off your money.
Yeah.
That's it. There's one in every street corner. So have at it.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So now you also run an agency, right? Which means people can actually come work with you. So let's say someone's watching this right now and they're like, hey, Adam, I like what you're saying, and I think that I want to come, hitch my wagon with the the cart to your wagon. What's the best way to reach you for that?
You can go ahead and go to our website, www.fflmountaineers.com.
Okay.
And you can see me and go there. I like that as the one-stop shop because that's the electronic storefront, right?
Gotcha.
You can browse different aspects of the company.
Gotcha. Interesting.
You're gonna get me. I'm not hiding behind people. You're gonna get me. I'm gonna come forward and be like, hey. So I'm gonna come on the phone and be like, oh, hey, now good to meet you, John or Susan or Karen or whoever, right? Why do you want to do this? And I'm gonna say, what wall is your back up against?
Yeah.
Because if your back, why would you want to do this? Go do a job. Like, why? Everyone sensationalizes being in a self-employed entrepreneur. The key is there's so much dead time. Like, how self-managed are you? Be honest with yourself. Do you have money to invest in this? Because it's hard to just network your way through this you can, but I would say, why do you want to do it? And what's your plan? Like, or do you want to work on a plan? And are you going to commit to it? It's the same thing with exercise or dieting. It's kind of like you're only going to get what you put in, you know? And if it was easy, then 92% of agents would not fail in the first year. And only 8% of us actually make it 1 year.
Yeah.
So the key is you gotta, I'm just gonna say it because it's real for me. I have what's called my Fab Five. My anchor, my thumb is my upline. If they're not useful to me, I go to my other four more often. And those people were Steve Giordano, Shadi Garafe, Brad Allen, and whoever else that was ahead of me. Notice they're straight up. I'm at the bottom here. They're ahead of me. And I would get 5 minutes with my Fab Five, and I'd do whatever they told me to do. And if you're not teachable and trainable, then don't call me, because I don't want you to put policies that are bad placed that you just run away and leave me with a roll-up debt because they charge back because the client canceled because it wasn't a smart policy, or it just 30% falls off the books anyway in 13 months. So it's not about, instant, you can make good money at this, but it's about consistency day to day in your business.
So talk to me. You mentioned chargebacks there, and I think at the end of the day, I enjoy the element of full transparency. What are the cons and what are the problems that people can face in the financial industry, and how can they overcome them, such as chargebacks, for instance?
It can bankrupt you if you're not smart, period. That's the worst. Or it can put you in a lot of debt by buying leads and not really working the leads hard because I called the leads once. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Until you get a hold of them. They wanted it. They might be and dealing with a lot of rejection is hard.
Yeah.
It's chargebacks. So let's just run the play. Let's say I'm at 100% commission. I do $100 premium per month is $1,200 annual premium. 100 times 12. The insurance companies pay 75%. So let's just say at 100% with that particular product was $1,200, and I'm at 100%. So I get 975% of that advanced.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say that client, that now client, cancels month 3. I owe $900. They didn't keep it a whole year. I don't get to keep that. It's like a interest-free loan. It's advanced 75% of the annual premium. You don't have a chargeback problem if you're continuously writing business.
Okay.
To cover chargebacks continuously. How do you put a smart policy in place? I just came up with this for me. This just helped me. Okay. I used Brad Allen's 15% and I made it 10%. So I go through the budget. What's your income? What is your basic expenses? What do I mean? Rent or mortgage? In my case, it was mortgage protection. I still right. Auto insurance, credit card, auto payment if they have one. What else are they paying on? Utilities, gasoline. What's at the bottom? What's left over? Say $1,000. Our budget is 10%. That's $100. So it has to be $100 left. Why? That's smart policy placement. Low premium. Use that $100. More applications per home, like this. Notice the trend here.
Yeah.
What happens is you're laying smart policies that fit their budget, so that when times get tough, they don't cancel. Because the first thing they're going to cancel is that life insurance.
Yeah, because they don't see the immediate value of it.
So when you place that seed, you got to do the financial inventory, and you got to find out why. What is it doing for them? Living benefits, death, cash accumulation, if that's part of it, or the mortgage. What are we doing with mortgage protection? Can we cover the whole mortgage? Everybody wants to, but if you're 70, sorry, unless you do a full medical exam, we're going to cover maybe half of the mortgage loan, or a minimum 1 to 6 months with a whole life policy, final expense. Why? You get 2 things you need more of: time and money. Gives freedom of choice on top of that. The spouse, domestic partner, kids, picking up the pieces, get a little money to make that payment to get the house sold, whatever, condo, doesn't matter. It's better than zero. So smart policy placement. Find the money in the home. Don't break the budget. 10% or less.
Gotcha.
30% go back because people change their mind. Okay. And try to do as many applications as you can per home or family. Whoever has the most amount of policies in the home wins. That's their home. Say that to them. This is my home to do this for you. You got questions? Call me. You got don't say referrals, recommendations. Cal Sandu taught me that. I love that. So I don't know it all. I just stay really teachable, and I stay with my Fab Five.
Gotcha.
And you stay with them. You get 5 minutes and don't go, I don't know, I'm not going to do it, because they're not going to take your call anymore. Okay. I get people that outreach me and I go, yeah, great. Did you do it? Great. And then we'll talk again. Did you not do it? I don't even say anything. Why? I'm not going to waste my time. Neither should you. And then if you're really serious, I had 20 to 25,000 in my name. I had to win at this. I put $2,000 a week down on leads. Then I moved to 2,500 a week. 35, 4,000 a week. And I was protecting 80 to 120 families a month times 1,000 per family. You do the math. Grateful. I couldn't do that in my other job. Now I love the freedom of being an entrepreneur, but I have to honor the responsibility of the daily, of being a servant to this business. And I can't, if I neglect it, it'll fade. If I don't attend to my agents, I have 3 hats as an insurance person. You don't have to have all 3 hats, but you will if you do this. You got to be always the number 1 producer leading from the front, because they're only going to do half of what you do.
Okay.
Number 2, you're your best recruiter. Don't delegate everything to some person to recruit, because you know the business better than they do, right? And then you're always the team leader. You got to nurture the relationships, do rounding for results, call them, build the relationship, talk to them, say, hey, Emmanuel's not on my team. Say, hey, man, what do you need today? What's going on? Then when you start caring, being a leader who cares, they'll care to tell you what's really going on, and they'll stick around and they'll perform better.
Wow.
They feel safe to say what's bothering them. If they don't feel safe, they're going to leave you debt and walk away.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely, I believe you expanded a little bit more. And also I like the fact that you give a little bit more insights as far as how to actually thrive in industry. And I like the concept of the five, as far as having those 5 people that are basically they're above you. And for the most part, you always have someone to look up to and someone to rather just pick their brain, even if it's for 10 to 15 seconds, right? So it almost kind of like makes you feel safer, because it doesn't feel like you're on your own, right? You're not walking the path that someone's you're walking a path that's already been walked before. Yeah. So Adam, as we wrap up here, anything you want to go ahead and share with the audience? Any pointers? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I mean, you can call me too, direct 207-659-1046. Don't waste my time. But what I'd say is, you've got to have the first thing, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself that you can do this, because you are what you believe.
Gotcha.
And then you've got to, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you've never done this, you got to get around people that know what they're doing.
Gotcha.
And not people that are doing the same or less than you. Don't take advice from them. Be around people that are winning, and then stretch yourself to grow. Don't stretch to break, stretch to grow, just like a muscle, right? You don't lift 100 pounds right now and break yourself. You build. So you build strength, but stay disciplined in doing the work. And then that's how you get results, and really get honest with yourself and go, do I really want to do this? Otherwise, go back to your job.
Yeah.
And if that sucks, then maybe this is for you. I don't know. But being honest with yourself, right? It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's never easy. I don't get a salary. Do you?
No, it's no salary. Yeah. You eat what you kill.
Yeah. You gotta constantly. So if you don't buy leads, you don't get leads, there's not much to kill and bring home.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay. Now, and then I get to enjoy the pleasures. Let's talk about the positive part, right? I have the freedom to go, I'm going to take off tomorrow, or I'm going to go Saturday and I'm going to go on vacation, or I'm going to go whatever. Like, I'm planning a trip right now. I want to go across the US over the next 3 weeks, drive it to go see family in Maine. I'm from there. and I'll stop and I'll run appointments, live transfers, and do different, pension stuff. I'm gonna take pleasure. Could I do that with a regular job? No way. No way. 3 weeks would have been like heaven to have that much time. But at the end of the day, you're either going to do what you love, do what you hate, or you're going to try to fix some problem.
Yeah.
I love the benefits of this, so I will deal with the cons.
Yeah.
Because I love the freedom of being my own boss. Nobody tells me what to do. But I have the responsibility to maintain that freedom by always being a servant to my business, even when I don't want to be, like picking up this phone and helping somebody when it's 7 o'clock at night or 7:30 in the morning, whatever it is, because it's what pays the bills.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you got to be willing to work. You got to be a servant to the industry and a servant to the people. Okay, Adam, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast, and I believe when it comes to finances, when it comes to the mindsets, I think there's definitely a lot to take away from this, guys. Currently, check the description if you want to go ahead and contact Adam as far as learning more about how to actually structure an IUL. If you want to work with Adam, the link is going to be in the description, so just go ahead and click that link. And Adam is a phenomenal guy to work with. Adam, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. And man, I look forward to having you on again as another guest, man, because this is definitely, even now I'm having to think like, what is an IUL? How do you do an IUL? How do you do all that stuff? But yeah, I think this was actually a very fruitful conversation. Thanks a lot, Adam.
Thanks, brother.
All right.